We're live. We've got one person in the chat, and it's Rick. Got one person watching, and it's Rick. So in which case, I guess it's welcome, Rick. 2 seconds, mate. I need to close. That's a bit better. That's a little bit better, isn't it? There's obviously people going to go back and watch this video afterwards. Otherwise, it's just you and me, Rick, and Jazza, of course. Welcome, and welcome anybody else that joins in now. You guys are clearly all right, but anybody that goes back and watches this video from the start, Hammers Chat, and we got 2 channels. So we got this one, we got the main Hammers Chat channel. We've got 2 channels. We're standing for the Hammers Chat forum channel and Hammers Chat channel. For some reason, people have been saying, why have I got my earphones on? That was a weird. I don't know why I even put my earphones on. Then I'm not even talking. I haven't got to listen to anyone, have I? Force of habit. Basically, people haven't been getting notifications. We don't know why that is. Maybe just the algorithm of YouTube has changed. Maybe they're just offering up people news stories more readily than the West Ham stuff, which I would totally understand, by the way. But just for future reference, when you're on one of our videos, click that you are subscribed. All you guys in there now will be, otherwise, because you have got it. But if you're watching this back, and then make sure the bell is pressed. Under where it says subscribe, there's a little bell icon. If you press that, you get a notification when we go. When we upload a video, so hopefully you don't miss anything. Anyway, I hope you're all well. Hello, everybody in the chat. Hope everybody's doing all right and not I just coping with the boredom, hopefully a little bit, finding things to do, rather than just watching reruns. I've noticed that there's lots of companies doing different things. Netflix are releasing a load of stuff early, aren't they? I think Disney have released an app which they're giving people a 7-day trial to. I would get it for the kids, but I know these 7-day trials turn into something a little bit more expensive. And to be fair, the kids have got so much stuff to watch. We've got DVDs, we've got Netflix, we've got films they haven't even heard of that they haven't watched yet. So, crikey, hold on. Listen, mate, somebody's in the chat straight away spamming back Boris. I'm just not for any anti-Boris stuff. I just don't need my flaming chat festooned with stuff about politics. We're trying to escape, my friend. We're trying to escape all of that by watching this and have a little chat about football. Right, anyway. So, what have we got? Something caught my attention. It's more of a chance to do some questions and everything anyway and have a little get together. But what did I entitle the video? Football Lite. I think I was going to entitle it The Future of Football. It's something, I've seen the article. It's from Sean, and it says players are against behind doors plan. Now I'm going to read a little list, and there's one thing that really I think sort of resonated with me on this. Anyway, so one comment in particular which sort of confirms what I feel about how the football players will be feeling and why I'm not entirely convinced that we're going to get football back in the way that we know anytime soon. So it says, according to a report in the Daily Mirror, football players are ready to revolt over plans to stage games behind closed doors. They're said to have voiced major concerns to the PFA and the EFL raised it as a strong possibility, as the EFL raised it as a strong possibility last week. The Premier League have even mapped out a plan to return behind closed doors as early as May the 2nd or 3rd to get football underway. Anyway, the players are adamant that they do not want to play behind closed doors because, number one, they fear for their own safety amid strict government warnings over social distancing. Number two, it could put their own families in jeopardy if they become infected. 3, extra strain would be placed on emergency services with ambulances, paramedics, and so on and so forth, that they're stretched to the limit. Number 4, they don't want to play in empty stadiums with loyal fans being locked out. I think number 4 you can discount. And I'm not getting on the players' backs for this. I just think that number 1 and 2 are far more important to the players at the moment than worrying about whether they play to an empty stadium or a full stadium. I'm pretty sure that if you could guarantee that none of the players would get infected in these matches, they play behind closed doors because they're football players. They're trained all their lives to play football. They've probably spent half their life kicking it around on their own against a wall or in the park or in the garden anyway. So I don't think that's going to bother them. But I thought the first one, the fear for their own safety, and then that they could put their families in jeopardy. Now, we've wrapped up work. What I do, we've wrapped up work basically. We had a couple of little jobs where we could go into people's houses that weren't there, as you know. There are a couple of small jobs that we can do without having contact with each other. but I've got a couple of people just that work with me or work for me, whatever you want to call it. And by and large, one of them said, it's all right, I'll crack on. As long as, I can follow the government guidelines, I'll crack on, I'll carry on working. So he's in there working in an empty house today. He's absolutely fine. The other two said, we don't want to. We don't want to have anything to do with it. We just want to lock ourselves down in our houses. And when it's all over, we'll come back out again. I don't, I've got total respect for what anybody wants to do. But I just think if that's a sort of cross-section of, 4 people, including me, then if you have a squad of 25, 30 players plus all the stuff, you've got a cross-section of 50 people there. There are going to be a certain number that will say, hey, yeah, we'll play behind closed doors. But there'll be a large chunk who turn around and say, no, we're not coming out of our house until this is all over. And we're in lockdown. Things are getting worrying. I don't want anyone in my family to become infected. And until such time as the government says otherwise. But even then, what are they going to think? Are they going to say, well, hold on, no, okay, even though the government said it's all right, then we'll carry on? Well, nobody's going to do that until they actually feel safe. If the people are worried now, my point is they're not going to feel less concerned in 12 weeks' time just because it's 12 weeks' time. If at that point there's a therapy, if at that point there's the numbers are being managed, and if at that point that you're just unlikely to get infected and they can prove it, then I'm pretty sure that people will be more inclined to go to and get out and play. But at the moment, I don't think it's happening. So let's just imagine that. Let's play that out now. And this is why the remainder of the league cannot really be played out to any sort of points tally, because every club is going to be different. For some clubs, some of their best players might turn around and say they're happy to play behind closed doors. For other clubs, their best players might want to remain in isolation. Whatever happens, you're going to have a mixed bag if you can get 15 players, 16, whatever, more when it's 17, whatever a composition of a match squad and a bench is, be 18, wouldn't it? That's saying you can get 18 players from within your first team, your reserves, your youth team, or whatever. 18 players who are willing to get onto the pitch, have contact with one another, the coaches that are willing to do the same, and get on there and play out a match. I think that in itself is going to be hard. But even if you do manage to do that, you're not getting particularly competitive games, because, as I say, one team might have 8 youngsters in the lineup, one team might have 8 experienced Premier League players in the lineup. So you just don't know what's going to happen. And for that reason, I think this has got a long way to run. The other bit of news on it is that the Premier League are trying to look to play games outside of London. Why? Well, I'll tell you why, just in case you have been burying your head in your sand. I don't mind if you have, by the way. If you're locked in your house and you don't want to watch the news, I don't blame you. It's probably keeping you sane. But obviously London has a far bigger infection rate than anywhere else because of the close proximity and the trains. And so it's just London. It's big cities are going to be like that. So they're thinking of taking... So Chelsea, for instance, Chelsea might play in Reading. West Ham might play in Southend or whatever. They would take them just out of the capital. I'm not sure that's going to work, because number one, you're not going to get the fans in there because it defeats the object of going out of the capital city and keeping people separated. So it's still going to be behind closed doors. And I just don't think the players... I think if the players are worried about the football, they're going to be worried whether it's played at the Southend Stadium, at London Stadium, or anywhere else, Reading, wherever you want to choose, Aldershot, whatever the local small club might be. You've also got to ask the question: would those small clubs particularly want? What would it be on a match day? Probably up to 100 people descending on their football ground. Would the government allow it? Probably not. What everybody deems to be important, what football is not what football deems to be important at the moment. So look, we've had the Boris thing and all the rest of it going in there and all that at the moment. But I just think if it comes to pass that football starts trying to put pressure on government going to say, no, we've got too much to be dealing with. So look, I don't think that's going to happen anyway. When do we get our football? I don't know. I do believe what I said the other day, by the way, that I think there is I think there's a place football's got a place. I think football would really help lift people. I think it would help lift people's spirits, but it's got to be done in the right way. And I'm not entirely sure the players want to play anyway, which is why we're hearing bits like this come out at the moment. So yeah, so there we go. Anyway, how is everybody else doing? Those are my thoughts on it. Who have we got in the chat? We got Tim. You've got Andy. Hello, Andy. Andy is right. He's saying people's lives are more important than football. Tim Julian says a big economic event is coming. I mean, it's not a lot. Look, I mean, we're struggling. We've got we've got another FIFA video coming, by the way. So myself and Gio have played West Ham v Tottenham. Now, I must actually pick a few of you up on this. A lot of you decided that I had to be Tottenham and Gio had to be West Ham. So as well, I understand that. So pick up the points, but you have a lack of faith in me, which was a little bit disturbing, I've got to say. So, yeah, well, that's coming out. It might even be released tonight. I don't know. I edited it. Easy for me to say. I edited it last night, 2 nights ago. So we got one of those coming out very soon. And we're going to keep doing those because they're a little bit of fun. And it's not really West Ham content as such, but it's something a little bit different. Emma's chat, that's the fake one. I'm watching him, by the way. He says waffling, which I am. You can piss off if you don't like it. Anyway, I've had some problems with the fake accounts, let's say. So a couple of them have been scrubbed off. I'm not sure who's who. So yeah, if it's Gio, clearly I won't ban him. But we got a little secret code, and there's no secret code on it, so he might be going on that one. What have we got? Social distancing is no problem for our squad anyway, says Andy. Andy, absolutely, my friends. Certainly no problem in the London Stadium. I don't know if you saw the report that they're trying to do something in Japan where they have half-full stadiums so people can keep a safe distance from each other. I can't see that working. The only way I can see it working is once everyone's been tested. So I think if they work out that once you've been tested and you've had it and you've recovered, you can't pass it on again. I don't know how they're going to do it, but then maybe you can go to the football because you are then deemed to be safe. How they would put that into action, I have no idea. Oh, Andy, that's a bit harsh saying that about the FIFA. I am trying my best. I'm an old man. You got to remember with the I haven't got the skills necessarily, but we'll see. You just have to watch and find out what happens. I think you already decided in your mind what happens when West Ham play Tottenham. So we'll let that play out. I don't know. It might be on today. Gary's out on his second walk today. Got to keep exercising, by the way. All right, keep away from other people. Keep exercising. Do you know what I saw today? I saw a group of 4 lads, and I'd driven past the petrol station. It come out, and there was a petrol station, a little Tesco in it, and 3 of the lads were on their bikes. One of the lads come out, he had a big bottle of Volvic. He took the top off, he swigged it and passed it round their mates. Oh my goodness! What hope has anybody got? Do you know what I mean? Yeah, that's not. I'm far from concerned. That's the real Hammers chat, by the way. So anyway, 18 months says Peter Jones. Best we could hope for. I think you may be right. I think we may well be out of football for a long time. How long we can Hammers chat can keep you busy with he's mentioned a quiz. We do actually have a quiz out on Friday, by the way, with quizzes and FIFA matches and things like that. I don't know. Mike has done a sterling video. If you've not watched it, go back and watch it. If you've not, also going to watch Canning Town Len put a video out this week as well. You can go and check that out on his channel. The link is the link's not on this video. It's on one from a couple of days ago. Have a look. It's easy enough to find. Oh, Jazza says he's the real Jazza. We know you are, Jazza, because Jazza messaged me earlier. And Jazza, the answer to your question that you messaged earlier was, I still think the best way to do that sort of thing is on Skype. You just have the camera switched off, my friend. But make sure somebody presses record and you actually record the conversation. That's probably easier than finding an app that does that, because Skype will probably be the best way. The best way to do it. There we go. I have a little scroll through some of the other news, but there's not an awful lot, folks. There's not an awful lot, and I didn't, as you can tell, I didn't have a video prepared for today. So apologies for that one. Right, what have we got here? what have we got here? So, oh dear. Yeah, okay. So we've got the thing in Japan, which is as you would expect. Okay, here's it. Okay. Irons unlikely to lose injured duos £185,000 wages. West Ham are exploring every avenue as they bid to lose Jack Wilshere and Winston Reid off the wage bill. Between them, the pair pull out about £185,000 a week. The midfielders made 14 league appearances. Yeah, we know all of this because basically we pay them a lot and they don't play. Winston Reid is with Sporting Kansas City. They're only paying 10 grand a week of his 80k wages or something like that. It goes on to say the Hammers would love to shift both of them off the wage bill, but accept they have little chance given the injury records of both. Wilshere has a year left on his deal. I know what else there was to come out. Look, there's only one way to get them off the wage bill, and that is to basically pay them up over half of what they're owed now and say they don't have to come in anymore. It's as simple as that. You may well find they take it now because they're looking at a system at the moment whereby players might be taking a 50% pay cut. Now, I'm not so sure that is going to happen at Premier League level, but certainly at League Cup level, at League EFL level, at Football League level. So will it come in? I don't know. Look, football needs to decide what the future is going to be. Football needs to decide what it wants to do. Do we want to have 90 professional clubs? Do we want to keep the small clubs? If so, then everybody's going to have to lump in. Everybody's going to basically have to help each other out on this, quite frankly. So I think a lot of the players are going to have to take wage cuts. I think a lot of the football money is going to have to be divvied down. And I think just come the end of it, we're going to see a lot different football than what we've seen now. We are going to see more homegrown players. I just think there's no doubt about it. We are going to see more youngsters. And we are, because we're going to have to pay the players less money. Now, the players coming through are not going to mind that because it's still going to be really well paid. But the players that are used to earning 300 grand a week, 100 grand a week, whatever that is, because they're used to it, you try telling them that they're going to earn half of that, they're not going to take it very well. So, there we go. Anyway, just before I go, I'll just have a little look down here. Gary Page said he saw two people on the lash at 10 a.m. this morning. They was, oh, there you go. They all started singing, apparently. Gary joined them. Who's that? We've got a new one. He says Pipeplus. Is that his name? I can't read. Got the wrong glasses on. He said, "Oh, Gonzo, I'm new around here." Well, you're very, very welcome. We're just about to buzz off. Funny enough, I just thought I'd do a very, very quick video. Say hello to everybody. Check how everybody is. David Croft says maybe each club could make up a team of guys that have been infected but recovered. It sounds ridiculous, but I think you might well be right, mate. I think you may well be right on that. That may well be what needs to be done. I don't know. I think the thing is, what I've probably not articulated really well is the way the Premier League carry on as if Premier League football is still important, as if they're going to be able to buck the rules, as if they're going to be able to change the trend, as if they're going to be able to do something not quite in line with what the government is advising, just so as they can finish their league, is a little bit deluded. But football is deluded. I do think it is. There you go. Anyway, listen, I'm going to finish it up now. Some people are saying they've lost the stream. God knows what happens. Sorry about that. I don't know what's happened. The internet looks fine this end. I will finish with Chris Boyce, though, who was just saying, anyone know the best wax for a bumhole? I believe that's candle wax, Chris. So I'm gonna finish now. Hopefully you'll be able to watch this back if you can, because clearly it's not working for some. Apologies for that. That's never happened on this one before. So I don't know. I'll double check the internet. It looks as though it's on. Take care. Speak to you soon. See you tomorrow. And don't forget to look out for the FIFA video. Speak to you all very, very soon. Thank you for tuning in.